Recording in progress.
So welcome Betty as our speaker for today's SwiftUI study group. Today's topic is concurrency and persistence. Thank you so much for being here, and you can take it away.
Thank you, Sierra. Again and again, thank you. Today, yes, this is a 7-1 party of weekly study group, and the last one will be at 10, so 7 on 10. If you want to join me, it's really simple. You go on your browser and you put betty.dev. I'm living in Amsterdam and I'm working in the iOS world. This group is have a spirit. This spirit is to learn step by step, to give you a routine, to be able to see it later if you are not available also, and to be kind, to ask us, as Sierra mentioned just before, to ask questions if you want. And yeah, also after this, before and after this group, you can please join the Slack group of Women Who Code Mobile. It's wonderful, and so please come with us. The goal is to learn the basic of SwiftUI, and obviously around there is Xcode and a bit of UI kit. And the goal is to create an iOS app from scratch. How we do that with the Apple platform. There is a tutorial on it, and it's an app called Schrodinger. It's an app that manages daily meetings. So we do it chapter by chapter. There is 8 chapters. We are currently doing it in 10 weeks. 10 sessions, and so here you can find all the input of this series. Today we will focus on persistence, because the chapter 6 is regarding persistence and concurrency. And we also today, just before starting persisting data, we will finish the state management part. It is the updating app data, and after that we will dive in the persisting data. Concretely, this is what I say before: state management and persistent concurrency chapters. This one you can find exactly, this is a screenshot in the Apple website, and the second description. To start each session, each week, you can find the code from the all the session that we have done. If you want to start on the second week, you can simply go to my GitHub. It is Betty Gaudier example, and here you can find, if you want to start on the second, you will find the session from the aid of the first one, and so on. So let's go. So you see my screen. On the left side, you have the tutorial from Apple, and on the right side, you've got the Xcode, right? Okay, and also the simulator. So I downloaded the zip file from my GitHub from the last session. Here I unzip, so I unzipped just before now, and so I open it, and you can find, and I launch in the simulator just before. You can see it's working properly. So updating data. Let's go. Yes, I can find you the result. It's interesting. For what we will do now, it's this, where is this one? Yeah, we'll do that. So currently you've got this screen. We will, when you click on the plus button, yeah, you will add a new information. Yes. So we will do it now. First step. So first step in the screen view. So here, add a state variable just above. So state. It's all the state variable are private. It's a Boolean is presenting new scrum view equal false. So the is presenting new screen view property controls the presentation of the edit view to create a new scrum. So I added the variable, and now I had to add a sheet modifier to the list. So just above my toolbar here, I will add a sheet one. Is presented what is presented my binding. Every time you see binding, you have to put a dollar in front. So, and you click on the action here, and you click return, and it will open curly brackets like this. Maybe I have to wait to put something inside. Yes. In order not to have error, I can show you Control Z. You have to remove this part code and waiting for the other instruction. So the new data, the new Scrum data property is a source of truth for all the changing the user. Oh, sorry, I had to add a variable new Scrum data here to, as it is mentioned, to have the source of truth. Private var new Scrum data. What is it? It is an instance of data here. So it is a source of truth for all the changing the user makes to the new Scrum. And now I will add it in the sheet view. So in the navigation view, in order to navigate, as it is called, so navigation view, we will add inside detail view here, and dollar, where is my dollar sign? New Scrum data. And in the sheet view, add edit view inside. Detail view takes a binding to new Scrum data, but the state property in Scrum view maintain the source of truth. Add an action for the plus button. So we've got this little button. Oh, we can see in live, I think so. Where is my button? Here, there is a plus button. So currently there is no action. I will add it. So what is my action is to be able to toggle to turn this value true. And changing is presenting new screw to true causes the app to present the sheet. And now we will add a dismiss yes, because if we do this, there is here you don't have, if you click on the plus button, you don't have nothing to go outside of that screen. So in order to be able to continue and to dismiss this screen, in the toolbar you will add just above, I think, where is my navigation view? No, here in my navigation view, just above this view, I will add a toolbar item. Toolbar. I am wrong or not? I will have to know. I will at the beginning add a toolbar like this, and inside a toolbar item, and with a placement and a content, it's a cancellation action. So up like this, and here I made return. And what is it inside cancellation action? It is a button which is called dismiss. The text is dismiss. I think we can show it. Yes, dismiss, but with no action. So, okay, there is a dismiss button without action. So if we both button action dismiss did view, so okay, we will put inside false in order to be able to have an action. So now I will have an action. No, sorry, missing space. Maybe up you is it? Yeah, dismiss button. Dismiss, interesting. But if I want to add information, I should have to add another toolbar item, which is a confirmation this time, and with a content, a button, add a button, and with the text add, and inside the same thing for the moment, but we will add the data just after. So, okay, now we can try in the canvas. So yeah, cool. Same thing, add or missing, same thing. Both button. Next, you will add code to save the new Scrum when the user taps the done button. Here, just above, before changing the Boolean, we will add a new Scrum equal daily Scrum, and it is written data, but currently it is not exists. I don't know if I forget something before of, or if it is not written in the tutorial, but you will have now an error who said, hey, nothing, extra argument missing, blah, 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 blah. He was looking for data, but don't find data. To be able to make it work, you have to add an init, initially init here, and you can find it directly if you go to at the beginning of this tutorial from Apple. You can download the starter project. So updating here the starting, and I can also download the project, and in the daily Scrum part you can find here the init, so you can directly copy paste here. So now I can find the link. If I return here, no error, so it can find its parameters. And new Scrum equal new Scrum. Yeah, he said because we have to use it, and we will do just after. So the property, maybe put it at the wrong place. So you want to init. What did you want to do? Okay, he said you do not use that data new Scrum. Here my data, new Scrum data, it seems okay. Presenting with my toolbar, with my button, and we will see later if we don't find daily Scrum, my data, new Scrum data, everything seems good. in the add button, create a new daily scrum, use new scrum data. Now it's okay. The property of new scrum data are bound to the control of detailed edit view and have the current information that the user said. The scrums array contain element of daily scrum, so you will need to create a new daily scrum to insert into the array. Yeah, now we will use now. We will add in this array, and to add in an array we use append. So now no warning. Be careful, I always have problem with the content of appear every time. So directly new scrum. Now it will be fine. Okay, the scrum array is binding, so updating the array in the view. Okay, now if I, oops, too fast. And I'll also need to add in the other button, because if we put dismiss, we also have to have the good information in the array. So maybe it's missing here. Yeah, so you register the data if we add, we click on the add button. So here I register my data, and here if I say dismiss, I have also to know the content of daily, no, daily scrum data, like this. Okay, is it working properly? Now run your app in simulator and create a new daily scrum. I have to check if it's work directly in the simulator. If I click on the add button and I say, for example, yes, backend dev, say that, another color, I can add attendees. Here, for example, and I put add, it will add a new scrum with the good color and the good attendees. So it's working. They will find a new scrum appear. So that's what we are doing. And also we'll add Scrum history. What is Scrum history? This is yeah, just above here. I think I have an example of what we will do now. Yes, just above, we start a meeting and we keep the history here with the good dates. So let's go. So I stop now the simulator and add a Scrum history. In the model group, create a new file. So here, model group, this one, to create command N. It is what? It is just a Swift file. And it is called history. Create. Yes. And inside, with a simple history structure that conform to identifiable. Struct, history, and conform to identifiable. And in it, I will add different variable. This one is built on UUID. This one is date, like this. And oops, it's not, it's a var. Attendees, it's an array. Inside the array, I will put daily scrum that attendee. And this one is, be careful with the typo, length in minutes. It's a need. Cool. Okay, so now I have my struct. The history struct has properties for storing the session details. Create an init. I will copy paste. Are you okay? I will copy paste. Yes, is what I create my init. It's the same data with the self, obviously. So it allows us to have default parameters for each property. In daily scrum, Now I have to add in my daily Scrum here, I have to add a variable. This variable regarding what we just the struct that we are created, and it is a struct of what history, and with a empty array at the beginning with a value of empty array. And is it okay? Yes. Also, we have to add a property name history with a value of empty array, and that's it. No init. In meeting view, create an history. Yes, in order to be able to have this view just above meeting view. This one, where at the top, not at the top. No, in meeting view, create an history. Where is history? Yeah, okay, just what is it? I don't know why it is with color. Create an history and it's set into Scrum history. It's not clear. Recall that on disappears here, and I create the variable here, new history. Oh, I will say the same things. Oh, copy paste. Up here, and Command A, Control I. Everything is okay. So recall that on disappear, execute the closure. When the view disappears, the closure updates the story without user interaction. Yes. Resume. Is it working or not? In detail view, add a section with the story header. Yes, yeah. And so let's go to detail view. And we will have just above this session. So again, just after the curly bracket, you click and you have just the limit of this section. And here we will add session with a header of what it is. It is a text, and it is called obviously history, and the content return in order to put code in it. Add a label in detail view, add a section with the history label. Okay, add a label that indicates no meeting has occurred if the Scrum history is empty. Okay, copy paste. Here, if Scrum history is empty, put a label. It should work. Yeah, no label yet. We have added these parts, and now add a for each view and pass the Scrum history array, the for each and the Scrum. So now we can do it just above the if for each what? For each Scrum history. So each time we create a new time, click on it, we can have the memory of that. So for pass the Scrum history, use H tag to display a calendar icon and the date for each item. Yes, H tag, you have the image and the text on the same line. Yeah, H stack with what? With, as I said, image and text like this. And we can, yeah, nothing because it's empty currently. Display locally date or time. Okay. Succeed. If I not add, click on design, for example, and start a meeting. Up. Yeah, there is a history. If I start again a meeting, another history. Okay, cool. And that's it for this part. But the problem is if I now why persistence? It's really simple to keep the information. So as you can see, now you can see that all the history is not here. Each time I will start the application, it will not keep memory. So how can you do that by persisting data? And I have also an example. Where is my video? Here. What we will do now, it's to be able to have empty scrum, add information, and yes, when we turn off and turn on the app, it keep the memory of the information. So it is exactly what we will do now. Persisting data. Yes, user can now create and edit Scrum, and because you use state and binding to pass data between views, SwiftUI automatically keeps the app up to date. However, it's what I said, when we relaunch, it resets all data back. Now we will support persistence, and you will add codable conformance for the app model and write methods to load and save Scrum. You can also download here again the project file to have started project and edit project. So, and can we do that? Do you have a question or not before I start? Is it okay? Can I continue?
Yeah, it's okay. I had a question from a previous thing, but I can't find my notes now. Sorry.
So I start with this. Open SIM here and declare conformance to the codable protocol. How to do that? Easy. Codable at the end. You gain automatic conformance because SIM stores raw string values which are already codable. Okay, for this one. Now we have to go to history and do the same. But at this moment, I think he will not be happy at all. Why? Oh, yes. Why? Because we have to have the other structure which are not conform to this protocol. So in order to be conform, we have to add codable conformance to the attendee. Yes, in the daily Scrum here. So codable again. It should be happy pass. Here, now that all the properties are codable, you can make daily Scrum codable with only a decoration. Add conformance to the codable protocol just above here, identifiable, codable. Okay, what's next? We will create a data store. We create a new class to serve as the data model for our app. In the model group, create a new file name. So here, model, common N. We'll create a new Swift file, What the name? Scrum store, Scrum store. Create, okay. And inside we will import SwiftUI and create a class which is called the same name as the file, and it will be not observed but observable object. Then create a constructor that conform to observable object. Observable object is a class constraint protocol for connecting external model data to SwiftUI views. add now a publish Scrum property of type daily Scrum. Little copy post. Okay, and an observable object includes an object will change publisher that emits a publisher emits when one of its published properties is about to change. Any view observing an instance of Scrum Store will render again when the Scrum value change. And now Schrödinger will load and save Scrum to a file in the user's document folder. So it is persistence. You will add a function to make accessing that file more convenient. So here we will add a static func and with a space. Add private static string func name file URL. Maybe it's missing. Oh yeah, it's obviously because it's throw something and there is nothing in, but we'll do it now. Display a compiler that we'll fix in next step. So in throw, when you have throw, you have to put do catch try. So try. Yeah. One more. Is it okay? Call URL on default file manager. You use a share instance of the file manager class to get the location of the document directory for the current user. Okay. Return a URL fixes the compiling error. And now we'll code appending pass component to return the URL of a file name scrum.data. Just above here, we can find appending pass component scrums.data. Be careful to the name. Okay. To return of name scrum data. Is it okay? Control B to check if the build succeeded. Now we will add a method to load data. Indexation will add a method to populate the Scrum array from the Scrum data file. Add a static func to load data in my Scrum here. So I will add a func that we very often use to have it is escaping. Result is a single type that represents the outcome of an operation, whether it's a success or failure. We use it a lot. In Swift, the load function accepts a compilation closure that is called asynchronously with either an array of scrums or an error. An array or an error. You will dispatch, very important to avoid crash. You will use dispatch queue to choose which task run on the main thread or background thread. So create an asynchronous block on the background queue. Dispatch queue are first in, first out queues to which your application can submit tasks. Background tasks have the lowest priority of all tasks. So at the beginning, we will add a do catch statement to handle any error with loading data. So now at the beginning, this dispatch, we'll put dispatch to put the work on the background. Do catch statement to handle any error with loading data. In the do close, create a constant. So inside I can make do and catch, catch. Yeah. In the do, create a local constant for the URL file. Like that. And Command A, Control I. And create a file handle for reading Scrum data. Because Scrum data doesn't exist when the user launches the app for the first time, you call the compilation handle with an empty array if there is an error opening the file. Yes. Okay, so now I have this part in my do. So handle in dispatch in case of success, empty array, and decode. Yeah, we have to decode. Yeah, with a JSON decode, we can write it. It is daily scrums, and so to decode in a synchronous way, we have to put try decoder. It's really classical to decode a file. So here, what is it? It is an array of daily scrum, and always have to put save from which file? From the file with available data, and decode the file and the main queue. Now the work is done, so we can pass the decoded scrum on the main queue. So just above again, wait for the catch. So we will dispatch that no, dispatch queue that main that sync. Okay, offer me all and put inside. So the completion with a case of success, we'll put daily scrums. You perform the longer running task of opening the file and decoding its content of the backward queue. When those tasks complete, you switch back to the main queue. Cool, good. So now we have in the catch code, pass the error to the completion order. If there is make a mistake again, yeah, sometimes we put snippet in order, because it's always the same thing. Failure, that's error. Okay. So in case could pass the data to the completion error. So now add an error to save data. You will write another method to save the user scrum to the file system. So yeah, I put again Control I. Add a save method at the bottom of the file. So in my Scrum store, I will add another method, but this time not to load, but to save. Just here, to mistake. Yes, to save, and same work. Okay, mainly same thing. Yes, a dispatch queue. We create a do catch statement on the background queue. In the do clause, encode the Scrum data, create a constance for the file URL, write the encoded data to the file, pass the number of Scrum to the completion handler. Okay. And in the catch clause, pass the error to the completion handler. What about a copy paste? Yeah, would be good. So here, and be careful with the curly bracket. Don't have to forget one. You will shout if we forget one, but Command A, Control I, Command B to build. Succeed. What a success. So load data. Now we will load data on app launch. In this section, you will use the load completion method to route in the previous section to load data when the app's root view appear on the screen. Yes. Yes, it is internal, but now currently it should have to be on the main screen. So open Scrum, scrolling your app Swift and replace the state property. Yes, before we have already data directly, and we will take the Scrum store. The Scrum store is, yes, it's a class, and it explains why we use state object instead of state. So it's private, and we completely change that. Store equals scrum store instances. State object property wrapper create a single instance of an observable object for each instance of the structure that declare it. Okay, and now obviously nothing is working because you want the good binding. It is the binding for store and inside scrums. So we pass it in the navigation view, and we want to refresh the data when this view appears. So on appear, and we push out this parentheses and put curly bracket directly, and in it we will have the Scrum store load function, and enter. Here it is result, and the result we will take which part of result, add an appear modifier to the navigation view, and call Scrum load Scrum store load in the modify action closure. In it depends on the result. So it is a switch. Sometimes in the new Xcode, it's written for us directly when we put, it depends. Sometimes it put automatically a case, failure, and so on. So in case of use a switch statement to update the store Scrum array with the decoded data. And so we have the failure, we have the success. So I will take all of it. Yeah, instead of writing. And we all, yeah, everything is exhausted. Command B, succeeded. Okay, is it working?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Regarding right there where it says section 6, to the side there's the small drawing of the, the phone. How do you call that small diagram that says Scrum store :observable object? Is there a name for that diagram?
This
Yes.
one?
Yes.
That's kind of diagram interesting. I don't think so. It is written like a database, and yeah, when you create a data model, you often use that kind of diagram. Maybe yeah, for data model to modelize data object, and yeah, it's what I'm thinking about when I saw it.
Okay,
and you have tools to do it, and you have tool on that when you create data, you can use tools, and you have directly that kind of diagram create for you in a box, and
okay,
like a box with title and field in it. So maybe there is a proper name, but for me it's like canned data.
okay, thank
but
you.
I agree, it's yeah, it's a really interesting way of explain.
Okay, thanks.
So now I launch this, and you can see that there is no data in it. So if I try to add, you can see that you have the data, but if I launch again, nothing. So persistence is still not working. Why? Because we have to explain to our app, I don't know, when we have to keep in memory. So you complete this story about writing code to monitor the operation state of the app and save user data when it becomes inactive. Okay, now you will know when. So go to the Scrum view, and for that we will create a variable to know when the user will go out of his application, and it is called scene phase, this one. So in the Scrum view, we have a private var, and it is a scene phase. Is it okay? Yes. Swift indicate the current operation states of app scene instance with a scene phase environment value. So you will observe this value and save user data when it becomes inactive. Okay. So for that, we'll pass empty action, this property just above this one. Yes, empty, and he will not be happy at all. Yes, because he wants something. So we'll give, maybe by fixing and empty action, curly bracket. Yes. Is everybody? Yes. Fail again. Xcode will display a compiler error until you update the Scrum view initializer in the app structure. So for that, add an on change on the sheet. So just after the curly bracket here, you will add an on change of what? Of the scene, and return new value. No, we decided to call it phase. I remove this part. In what? You can choose on change to trigger action when a specified value changes. You will have a condition: if phase inactive, save action. So here, now it's much better. A scene is in the inactive phase, no longer receives events and may be unavailable to the user. Oops, too fast. Now you will update Scrum app to pass a save action closure to the list view. And how we do that? We go to the Scrum Digger app in the navigation view. Missing argument, yes. And missing argument, for that we'll have a closure, and inside a result in, and oh no, after, oh no, Betty, a closure, and no, before, not result, no, a closure in, we call this, and after Scrum store we will save, and here, yes, much better, we'll call store scrums, and the compilation now. Okay, result in what? In, and call Scrum in the save action closure, and updating the initializer, fixing the compiling error. Yes, but just before, call Scrum store that save in the save action. Okay, if the call result in failure, bind the error to a local constant and stop execution. Currently, the app crashes if you encounter an error passing data to disk. You will have more robust error handling in the next tutorial. Okay, so I will copy paste this one inside. Control I, and the Scrum list is empty the first time user launch the app, so you can try it. Run the app in simulator and add some Scrum, then return to the home screen and quit the app. Yeah, let's do it. So iOS developer, and yeah, magenta, 20 minutes. So Julie up, and Katie. Yeah, yep, and add here, and if I turn on the app, there is nothing. Yeah, return to the home screen. Okay, maybe I made a mistake, and it's not complete persistence. Oh, no, I made a mistake. Just before on change, see, it should work. So it's missing, I think, at the end. Yes, yeah. So I got my state object and store. In my navigation view, I have it. I will save here wait with a reason. If case of failure, okay, error. And in case you should have to put to Scrum. Did I miss something wrong? Yes. My result in the result. We do it again. It seems to be good on appear in case failure. Is it store in the made? It's safe. On change. Yeah, it's a good face. Inactive. Save action. Everything is complete. Inactive phase no longer receive event and may not be available. Yes, on changes. Is developer and put lavender on it. Some yes, another one back in there. Another color. I put it, you have to screen, okay. I put in another design. Developer and Maria up add. Okay. I think it's good now on change. Yes. Yeah, and the next things for the next time API. It's for the next time we'll have concurrency. So I will download as usual on the website the code and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Betty.
Thank you, Sarah.
All right, we'll be back next week.
Next
Have
week.
a great rest of your day, everyone, and hope to see you at Connect on Thursday.
Bye.
Take care.